is Jason at mrthebigman.net. Today for my next tips and tricks tutorials, I want to look at parallel compression. We're going to look at this across two DAWs in Reason and Logic Pro. But generally, when we get to the Logic Pro part, it'll be pretty much the same for every other DAW from there. Reason's obviously slightly different because of the way that it's set up. So what I've got currently going now is a kick drum. Fairly standard, nothing major. Parallel compression essentially is a way to add more punch to your overall sounds. I use it mostly in drums or on groups, but it's definitely worthwhile checking out. It's currently the new de facto standard for engineering at the minute, especially in America. So if you're looking for that big polished American sound, then you're going to want to follow these tutorials then. So what we need to do is we need to set up another mix channel because we're going to parallel compress in that. We're going to send the signal to two different places, and on the parallel compression bus we're going to actually use a compressor to compress the sound really heavily so that we get a really heavily compressed sound. So it's not going to sound like the kick drum as you hear it there, but it's what we're going to do then is just level it up in behind so that it gives a lot more character and a lot more punch. So I'm going to set that up now. Okay, so we have a mix channel there. I'm just going to rename that parallel. Now what we need to do is flip round to the back and see that the redrum is actually connected into the mix channel above. And what we want to do is take that out because we don't want it going directly into there, because we want to split the audio out into two parts. So I'm just going to take that out. And then on this I'm going to put in a Spider Audio splitter merger. So the audio merger and splitter, you can see it here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the output from the kick drum and put it into here. And we're going to latch this over onto here so that we get a stereo signal. Now from here we're going to take one output and put it up into the original mix channel. And we're going to take another output from that and put it into the new parallel mix channel. And then we'll set up the mix channel for compression. Okay, so if we flip that over, you should see now when I press play, both you should see incoming signals into both mix channels. Okay, so as you can see, it's coming in through both now. So what we're going to do is now we're going to put compression onto the parallel bus. So in order to do that, these work essentially like a combinator. So if I show you the whole thing, you can see it's exactly the way that the old combinators look, and it works in exactly the same way as the combinators are. So we can get really good results with this just through the top end of it. But what I'm going to do is just put a compressor in there and let you see exactly how it works. And then I've just muted the parallel bus so you can just hear it. Okay, so that's now soloed. I'm just going to do some quick compression to make this sound really bad. You'll understand why I'm doing that in a wee minute when you hear it put back in again. Okay, so I've just done some slight compression on it. I mean, you'd obviously sit down on this and do quite a lot more work than what I've done here. This is really just for tutorial purposes, but you can sit and have a mess around, or even put your own compressor in there. If you've got new compressors coming down from the propeller head shops, then use it. Use the pulverizer, for example. You could use it too. I'm going to flip over to the mixer page now, and you'll see that I've got two mix channels now. So I've got my original mix channel, and then I've got my parallel one. So what I've done is I've taken the parallel right down because I only want to really hear the main one. And the parallel that is there just to sit in behind to add a little bit more punch. So if I play this and then bring it up, I hope you'll be able to pick it up from there. But the principle is exactly the same, so just go ahead. Now you maybe can't hear that, but there's a massive amount of punch coming through on that kick drum now. It's really made it bigger in the overall spectrum of things. And that's pretty much it. That's how you do parallel compression within Reason. And we'll move over now to have a look at how we do parallel compression in Logic then. Okay, so we've moved back over into Logic then. I've set up a kick drum just again. Fairly straightforward kick drum from the Vengeance series. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at this on the mixer page. So as we can see, we've got the kick drum set up on its own mixer. Parallel compression essentially works through the busing system, so it's send and return. So we're sending it to one place and it's returning it back to give us exactly the same thing as we had in Reason, whereby we have two separate signals that we can play with. Now how to set this up is by using the sends here. So we just click on one and go to bus, and I'll just select bus 1 to make it easier. And you'll see now that it's set up a new auxiliary here for me to send this information to. So what I'm going to do on this, on the insert panel, I'm going to choose Native Instruments guitar rig, so I can use one of the compressors in it. And that's going to open up for me in a wee second. I'm just going to go to the components, and I'm going to go to dynamics, and I'm just going to pull out a tube compressor for this for the time being. Now basically what we want to do is set this up for compression. I'm just going to choose one of the presets for the time being to make it easier. And then I'll just close it down so that it's there. Again, I'm going to pull down the overall bus volume because it's going to work in exactly the same way as Reason does, where we're going to introduce the sound via the volume fader. And all we do then is we choose how much of it we want to send to the bus. So we can choose a different figure. We can go halfway if we want. We can go the full way if we want. So I'm going to go the full way because I want to get the full signal sent through to the actual effect itself on auxiliary 1. I'm just going to press play then so you can hear the kick drum, and then we'll introduce the sound again like we did in Reason. Now, I'm not sure if you're getting that through the video, so obviously, as I said before, you should really try it. But that's a hefty kick drum now. That's massive. Really punching through all the frequencies that it needs to, and sounding really cool. And so that's really how to do it. It's a lot quicker than Reason because you have to set it up in Reason. But obviously, when you set it up in Reason, you can save it out as a combinator or something like that to see if you're having to do it the next time. But that's tips and tricks on parallel compression. Definitely use it. Use your ears. Have a good listen to it. I think you'll find it'll make your mixes much better and much punchier as well. Thanks very much.